not quite as big as was anticipated, and you can see why. There's no cover at all, except that which they brought themselves. And in the commentary positions, all sorts of plastic sheets being draped over the broadcasters from around the world. Brazil have basically kept this side together throughout the tournament. Number 7, Silas, is the strong favourite to be voted the best individual in the competition. And it's exactly the same lineup, in fact, that beat Spain 2-0 in Tbilisi in the group games. But Spain are forced into one change. Ferreira is suspended, and they leave out Juanma, who's not fully fit. So into the final come number 4, Paz from Seville, and Arozarena, who plays for Osasuna. The referee is from Scotland, it's David Syme, and he gets the final of the 1985 World Youth Championship underway in conditions very similar to a midwinter scene. The rain is falling so heavily, and the pitch, although basically firm from a summer full of Moscow sunshine, they've had record temperatures here. Some of the water now is obviously laying on the surface. Spain have matured so much during this competition. They started with a goalless draw against Saudi Arabia, then they were beaten by Brazil in Tbilisi. They failed to score in both those opening games. 4-2 win over the Republic of Ireland took them into the quarter-final, where they beat Bulgaria, and then that quite remarkable semi-final here against the Soviet Union, which went to the very last kick of extra time when Goicoechea equalised, and then Spain winning on penalties. But Claudio Taparel in Brazil's goal has only been beaten once in 5 games. Brazil really have been convincing throughout, and good save from Pardo by the goalkeeper, who showed his quality then. The right back well forward, getting in the shot. Litralde. Brazil's progress: 5 games, 5 wins, 13 goals scored, only 1 conceded. They are looking to break new ground here in the World Youth Championship. This is the 5th final, and no country has won it more than once. Russia in 77, Argentina 79, and Unfu. Yes, at the other end, Claudio keeps warm, and everywhere else in the crowd, everyone tries to keep dry. The other winners of the World Youth Championship, West Germany in 81, and Brazil, of course, 2 years ago. Pardo. Deflected out off Dida, the left back. Not a pleasant day to be keeping goal. There'll be a soft landing though. Goicoechea, impeded by Jean Antonio, the number 5, and Henrique, the number 4. Goicoechea, and the goalkeeper taking no chances with a greasy ball, and it finds Tozin. Jessen taking the throw, one of 3 Brazilians, each with 3 goals in this tournament. The other 2, Miller, who's trying to take the ball here from Mendiondo, and the number 18, Balalo. Gay. Cleverly done, but he showed too much of it to Luciano. Luciano, the right back, who was a scorer in that 2-0 win over Spain. Alalo got the other. And how often we've seen Dida forward in this competition for Brazil. But although Brazil have all the pedigree, certainly Spain have proved that they have plenty of guts, bags of determination. And they're certainly not lacking in skill either. Literalde, who plays for Bilbao. An opening quarter of an hour, quite in keeping with many major finals. A certain amount of sparring, but one important save by Claudio in Brazil's goal from Pardo. Silas. João Antonio. And now Henrique advancing forward. Silas taking over. Away by Paz. And possibilities here for Luciano, but it won't count. He was offside, and the right back, who already has one goal to his name in this competition against Spain, denied another here, and certainly a matter of some debate as to why the goal was ruled out. He came from an onside position, but Unfu has a let-off, and the crowd aren't happy about it. I can only think that it's possibly the referee spotting the way Luciano took the ball on his body, maybe a suspicion of handball. He clearly was onside, but that's all irrelevant now. There was no goal, and Spain have Goicoechea penalised quite clearly for jumping with an arm raised and making contact with the ball. And this is 40 yards out. But Tosin is suggesting that Unfu might be faced by a direct shot. Spain not even sure whether they need to set a proper ball. They just had the two men there, and in the end the threat was a tame one. Rain still sheeting down as Paz loses out. Now Silas, great creator for this Brazilian side. Alalo. He and Dida have worked the left flank so well. Silas, and Dida is in again. Credit to Unfu. Dida has been virtually an auxiliary attacker. That was a real chance for Brazil to take the lead, and a measure of their adventure that the right back has had a goal disallowed and the left back has had a great chance to score. Goicoechea, Spain's hero against the Soviet Union, with a very well taken last-minute equaliser at the end of extra time, and he's fouled. Dida has been given the yellow card. Goicoechea to take the free kick himself. Skims away. Played early by Tosin. That was skillfully done by Miller, riding Mendiondo's challenge, but they doubled up on him, and it was taken away by Fernando initially. Claudio, the goalkeeper, plays for Internacional, Porto Alegre. Silas with Sao Paulo, as is Miller. Spain defended very well in the early phases of the match against the Soviet Union in the semi-final. They were quite prepared to just go out there and soak up the pressure, while Brazil quite come at them that strongly, but you can see how many red shirts are back. The first sign of trouble, and there's trouble here. David Syme giving Brazil a free kick, and this could be tailor-made for their skills. Spain falling back all their resources. Unzu setting the wall to cover his left-hand post. What will Brazil come up with? And Unzu has lost it. Yes and no! It seemed a certain goal, and he knows really he should have done better. It slithered away from the goalkeeper's grasp. And Brazil, the masters of the free kicks, very close to taking the lead from one. And Unzu grasps the greasy ball. Lozada. He scored 3 times in the competition as well. Spain, who are slow to get off the mark in terms of goals, seem to have put that problem behind them in more recent matches. They chopped and changed in their front players. Silas. And well played, that's brilliantly done, and on the wet turf he couldn't quite carry the ball and was in danger of losing control as he was fouled. But Spain, with their diligent marking, were picking up the players off the ball, and they rather neglected Silas, and he recognised the potential and went through to be balked by Tirado, who is getting the blame for the foul on Silas and has had the yellow card. Referee Syme keen to make sure there's no repetition of the semi-final between Spain and the Soviet Union, which on several occasions threatened to get out of hand. So, another free kick. Balalo, who took the last one and almost created the goal for Gerson, goes again. Again it's lost by Unzu, and good reactions from Arozarena. He recognised the danger that Unzu might not be able to hang on. Jess looking to make a move. Silas trying to really set his footing, get good contact on the ball from the corner. It's his pass, and you can probably hear the rain falling on our microphones that bring you the crowd effects. A miserable night, completely out of keeping with the weather for much of the competition. But if it's damp in the air, the atmosphere is certainly hotting up between these two teams who have battled their way through to the honour of contesting this 1985 final in the World Youth Championship. Pass. Giving it back from Fernando. Mendiondo. Goicoechea lurking should the ball slither through. João Antonio away. Over Miller, met by Paz. On from Gueye. Gueye again. No great measure of control in midfield for either side. Gueye winning the ball back. It's a matter really of which team can come to grips with the importance of the occasion the quicker. Arozarena across again, and Gerson in the wars. Gerson, who got the hat-trick, the only hat-trick of the competition, against Colombia in the quarter-final. A match in which Dida, the number 6, scored. Spain have always been neat and tidy in their passing. There was nothing tidy about João Antonio and Henrique colliding then for Brazil. Goicoechea, players slipping and sliding. It's the ones with the better balance, the better sense of gravity. Gerson, now that surely will be construed as handball. He threw his body down, but it struck the arm. But the linesmen, in fact, have been flagging all the while. 15 minutes of the first half remain. It's Spain 0, Brazil 0. Oh, what a sight. You can hardly get a decent photograph. The track that was the setting for the tremendous athletics competition in the 1980 Olympic Games. Okay. Goicoechea denied by Luis Carlos, the Brazilian captain. Miller. He's got his free kick. Nunfu, who has mixed some rather erratic moments over this competition with some really quite unbelievable saves. Knows that another blast from a free kick could be coming his way. And you're a brave man to stand in the wall. And it was Goicoechea, who was almost trying to duck out of it, who took it from Balalo's thunderous left foot. In from Muller. Balalo had taken the free kick with a raised boot, and dangerous play. And then Balalo was caught. Referee wanting to calm things down. Whether he's going to single anyone out for special attention, we shall see. It does look as though the free kick is going Brazil's way. Mendiondo slowly back on his feet. The gesture suggests he was holding. And he gets the yellow card at the end of an episode which seemed to start with a piece of dangerous play by Balalo, and then became quite a skirmish. Tozin down as well as a result of that skirmish. And nobody at the moment really quite sure of exactly what had occurred, but it's another free kick, and that can only mean problems again for Spain, but the wall stands firm. Henrique. Balance very, very hard to maintain. The way you're facing could be the best policy. That's what Literalda did then. Luciano with the throw. Gerson was pushing. Free kick to Spain. The conditions really are going to play such a major part in the destiny of this match. Often said that it makes life difficult for defenders slipping around, but it's equally hard for forwards who perhaps presented with opportunities that might not otherwise occur to keep their balance. At the moment, Brazil looking just a little bit more sure-footed than Spain. But it's been a first half of stops and starts. And that first half has barely 5 minutes to run. Silas. Luciano, Tosin goes outside him. And Muller was faced by a goalkeeper who came off his line very quickly indeed. Unfu to the rescue once more. And here is Pardo for Spain. Goicoechea in close attendance, but the tight interpassing in these circumstances, not easy. Great effort. Certainly the conditions do favour trying a snapshot, with the goalkeeper perhaps likely to be beaten with the ball skidding off the turf if it's a low shot, or unable to move his feet quickly to get to one where he has to dive off the ground. Dida. Silas. Fernando, the Spain captain, just orchestrating those around him in midfield to get back and be disciplined in their marking. Fernando trying to do the tackling there himself, and Spain do have it with that kind of approach. Goicoechea. Still again. The problem for the Brazilian midfield is to find someone who's unmarked, and that was magnificently done by Silas, and then Miller couldn't finish it. It was a quite superb pass, and Unfu wonders where the cover is coming from. Silas looks to curl it. This time it's met by the fists of Unfu. Volleyed over by Jean Antonio. So got a bang as Silas curled the ball back in. Goicoechea beaten in the air. From Fernando Losada. And Gay. Maybe an arm used. And now a lot of appealing from both sides. And Brazilian faces looking a little relieved when the referee pointed straight away for the goal kick. And to be fair to the referee, Spain weren't appealing to a man, but it should have been a penalty as Gay went down. And he will be penalised for just catching Luciano. The free kick taken. Half away by Mendiondo. Silas, now Tosin. Goalkeeper backpedals, and Gerson ends up way beyond the advertising hoardings. He needed all his agility then. Not on the field of play, but to avoid a nasty fall. Bengochea. Good turn. Useful cross too. Fell kindly for Brazil as the half-time whistle goes. Treacherous conditions in the Lenin Stadium at half-time. Brazil 0, Spain 0.
Oh, hello, Eurocharters. This Sunday in the Eurochart Top 50 show, you will see Nino's unknown acting talent.
Brilliant, I'm brilliant.
Unbelievable. Really.
Fantastic.
I never knew that,
And you
Nino.
won't see anything from Linda. That's
well,
this Sunday.
you will actually. Yes, we have 2 live acts as well.
Oh, really?
Kira Joling and the original Talkatives. Great fun.
As I was saying, it's this Sunday, 5:30.
Right.
And
on
Eurochart,
Sky Channel.
On Sky Channel.
Every Monday and Thursday on Sky Channel, there's a slap in the face for organised crime.
I've been fighting all my life, Frank. I don't quit just because you got the odds on your side.
No matter how big the reputation, the Untouchables go gunning for them, tirelessly led by Elliot Ness.
You think you're a pretty wise guy, don't you, Eddie? Let me tell you what you are. You're a loser.
There's only one winner, the Untouchables, Monday at 9:15 and Thursday at 9:50 on Sky Channel.
The cream of the world's young footballers in action here in Moscow. This, the real climax to a marvellous couple of weeks of football. And the first slipping and sliding of the second half goes on. And that's really the reason that the scoreline is the way it is, with no goals in the first 45 minutes. But Unthu in Spain's goal, the busier of the 2 goalkeepers, 2 or 3 significant saves. Jessen struck a post, and at the other end, Claudio made a good early save from right back Pardo. But Unthu, you sense, holds the key to Spain's chances. Whatever the surface, Brazil have enough talent to make things happen. Clearly, as they get more and more of the ball, Spain will be under greater pressure. Jessen, good support from Luciano. Jessen used him as a decoy. Well, it was perhaps one turn too many, one bridge too far. Losada. You can see Spain's shortage of numbers further forward. They're straight away adopting their favourite policy, just checking back, letting Brazil have the possession in midfield and trying to pick off the pass as they did then. But on a couple of occasions in the first half, Silas, when no pass seemed on, found a way through. He can see the predictable pass and he sees the unpredictable pass. And only players of very high quality do that. Tirado. Tosin. Luciano. It's really a case of playing the ball to feet wherever possible. The weighting of the pass in these conditions is very difficult. Slid out by Roferena. Luciano and his sidekick at left back, Dida. Perhaps the players who can make things happen for Brazil, timing their runs from the back. Now Silas. Antonio. Enrique striding forward. Doesn't really matter how Brazil do it in terms of providing the extra man, but you feel that that's what they've got to do. Spain are marking so tightly. Losada. Nicely done. Away from Enrique. The referee must take action here. That was a cynical foul. And David Syme has the yellow card out again. The number 4. Every sympathy with the referee, and no sympathy with Henrique. Been a rare sortie forward for Spain in the second half, and Losada with a looping header comes close. That would have been some sort of justice. He was the player brought down, and it was enough to make Claudio scamper. Antonio. Now Luciano. We're back to the normal routine, so to speak, after that rare flurry from Spain. Brazil go forward. Spain quite prepared to put some steel into their tackling. And Mendiondo came through the back. And he is in trouble here. David Syme produces the red card. A second offence for Mendiondo. He has to go. And that could just tilt the balance. By my reckoning, the first player sent off in this competition, and it happens in the final. And Palalo, from the resulting free kick, looks for immediate revenge. Well, this was the situation there. It's got to be a yellow card, and for the second offence, he's off. Francis taking over from Goycochea, who's been holding the top of his thigh. Well, Spain's policy has been one of containment. It will surely stay that way now. Losada left to plough something of a lone furrow. Brazil can gamble even more now on getting their defenders and midfield players up in support of the front men. Yeah. Well, there is a big prize at stake, but it really has degenerated at times, this final. Another yellow card, and you can't argue with the referee. He's not giving the free kicks away with blatant infringements like that. Luis Carlos has the yellow card, and Nain from Barcelona waits to come on. And Pardo is the player who's replaced. Spain have used both their substitutes. They have only 10 men, of course. Silas. So Brazil even more with the odds stacked in their favour. Paz. It was interesting when Mendiondo committed the foul. His teammates knew instantly that he was in danger of going. Spain continue continue to mount the rearguard action. They're not too worried about how they do it. Fernando's late challenge this time. But all that the referee gives is a throw. Luciano gets reasonable distance to it, but not to find the head of Jessen. Miller, a bit sloppy. It's almost as if Brazil are expecting it to be that much easier now. They haven't really immediately seized the opportunity to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And it is still 0-0. And as the seconds tick away, of course, if Spain could get one, they wouldn't have a great deal of time left to keep Brazil at bay. Silas, who's never stopped working. Luis Carlos for Luciano. João Antonio thought about the shot, thought about not shooting, and then finally decided to have a crack. But in these very sapping conditions, Brazil really can wear Spain out if they just keep their shape, keep their discipline, and pass the ball and make Spain do the running. Silas, which is what they're trying to do now, and Luciano is free, and it's wide from Jessen at the near post. But this time they did cleverly switch the point of attack from left to right. Luciano crossing, but Jessen was well marked, wasn't he? Three around him as he came in. Here's a corner taken by Balalo, not particularly effectively. Jessen in trouble. This time it's Luciano with a slippery ball, hard to get the purchase. It's a corner. Well, Brazil pile on the pressure. And with Jessen off the pitch, perhaps their main aerial force is lacking. Tosin is good in the air too, as he showed then. Well, Spain have been treated heroically back in their own country for their performance in the semi-final. Suddenly the major newspapers became fully aware of what was happening here in the Soviet Union. But if they were to go on and win from this position, take the FIFA Coca-Cola Cup, it would be total adulation. It's a brave show. They're still in there with a chance at 0-0. But down to 10 men. Jessen back on. Marked by Rotarena. Enrique came in. Out by Tirado, not very far, only as far as Dida. Miller for a moment was unattended, but they couldn't find him. Balalo still on the right for Brazil, having taken the original corner. But not taking a very good throw, putting Luis Carlos in trouble. Brazil, third in 1977 in the inaugural tournament, quarter-finalists in 81, winners in 83. And 5 minutes away from facing extra time in their bid to retain the trophy. Silas and Luciano seemed to me to be balked, but the ball was already running out. He wasn't going to get it. And David Syme says it's a goal kick. Rotarena, who was the player who tangled with Luciano. Still down. And just scrambling to his feet now. And it was a remarkable recovery. As one suspected, he wasn't hurt at all, but I think was worried that a penalty was going to be given against him. Spain trying to make a rare foray into the Brazilian half. What a time it would be to score now. It's looking more and more like extra time. Brazil won in 1983 in the 90 minutes, 1-0 with a penalty that you saw earlier in the programme by Giovanni. Up against Argentina. But it's 0-0 here in 1985 against Spain. Tosin. Pass. Holding off Balalo. That's nicely played, and possibilities here for Spain. With Losada and Francis waiting in the middle, it wouldn't come. And what an opportunity that could have been. Losada, it was 2 against 1 for a second. It's extra time, and Spain have held out with 10 men after Mendiondo was sent off. Brazil just couldn't break through, but now they have an extra 30 minutes, and then it would go to penalties. But after full time, 90 minutes, it's Brazil 0, Spain 0.
On Sunday, a new series on Sky. A family
Warning, extreme danger.
lost in space.
We're gonna crash!
With Dr. Smith, a troublemaker,
Afraid? I?
who'll do anything to get back to Earth.
Dad, when exactly will we reach Earth?
We're not returning to Earth, son.
And we're not going home at all?
No, darling, we're not.
All right, hang on. Here we go!
But there's plenty of excitement. Lost in Space. Sunday at 7 on Sky. In a new action-packed series for the autumn on Sky, Henry Fonda is Chief Marshal Simon Fry.
I'm asking you to be the man your mother thinks you are.
The Pioneer West is a lawless West, and the faces on the wanted posters are familiar. Faces such as James Franciscus, Lee Van Cleef, and James Coburn. Henry Fonda is the Marshal, and Alan Case is Clay McCord, the Deputy. Western action, Tuesday night at 9:50 on Sky Channel.
Two very tired footballers out on what is becoming a mud-stained pitch in the Lenin Stadium in Moscow. Extra time, 15 minutes each way, and the destination of the FIFA Coca-Cola Cup still very much up in the air. I would think Spain's policy is quite a simple one. They must really play for penalties where their man disadvantage will be wiped out then. So suddenly the pressure switching back to Brazil. They have another corner. Making sure there's no slackening in the discipline of the defensive marking and the organisation in front of him. Balalo takes the corner. Henrique! A goal for Brazil! extra time. And suddenly the flags are unfurled. They're off the benches. And there are great scenes of jubilation because it's been a long time coming. From the corner. And Henrique following in from 6 yards. Luciano. Brazil with the boost of that early goal in this first period of extra time haven't really pleased the crowd. It hasn't been any sort of spectacle since then. Understandably, they know they can keep the ball, let Spain do the work. But here's Silas, and it's just past the post. Unfu deserved that luck, really. He's been a gallant goalkeeper. It was an awkward ball coming on the bounce. The spin, I think, took it wide. Well, they scored from a corner. Can they do it again? Unfu punches away. It's half-time in extra time. And Brazil with the one-goal advantage that they've worked so hard to obtain from Henrique in the 92nd minute. Brazil 15 minutes away from writing a new chapter in the history of this competition. But Spain will be doing everything that's possible to deny them that second successive triumph. It is going to be a case of mind over matter, really. Physically, they've given so much already, this Spanish team, playing with a man short, losing Mendiondo midway through the second half. And they're going to need a touch of good fortune or a touch of real inspiration. But they came back in impossible circumstances against the Soviet Union. So you write them off at your peril. Naïd. And here he goes. It was crisply hit. Nothing wrong with the power. The direction was lacking, and Claudio Taffarel also has had his moments during this competition. Made a splendid penalty save in the semi-final, although, like all goalkeepers, he did move before the kick was taken and got away with it. But Brazil, the country where football is side by side with religion. Still a country with immense problems socially and economically, but through their football there is so much joy given to so many. That joy is transmitted around the world too with their style. Dida lets it run, just a gasp from the crowd, but he was in control. Gerson, who has been limping since that injury earlier in the game. And it's Antonio Carlos appearing, as does a second substitute, Marçal. And Silas, the other player, replaced. Well, Spain have got to do it now. And maybe they've got the chance here. Fernando, no. They were arriving in droves too as they sensed the opening. And that's it! Brazil have won! the 1985 World Youth Champions. They retain the trophy they gained in Mexico 2 years ago, but how hard they've had to work. And as we say goodbye from the Lenin Stadium, we leave you with the goal from Henrik.